Malaga Radio.
Freshly squeezed.
The juice on all the daily events along the coast.
With just a little bit of zest.
This week, food and hospitality takes us from a mountain village celebrating the Moscatel grape to a major seafront ham festival in Estepona, then back into Malaga City for a structured beer tasting, a working food market, and the local language of ordering coffee.
And there is an important distinction in this guide. Some of these are dated public events happening only this week. Others are practical visitor experiences or everyday food traditions that help you understand how Malaga actually eats.
We begin in Fuengirola, where Bocata Fest turns the smaller Nostrum stage inside Castillo Sohail into a destination built around food, music, and the atmosphere of the venue itself. It takes place on Thursday the 6th and Friday the 7th of August, from 7 in the evening until midnight.
The event is at the Escenario Fundación Unicaja inside Castillo Sohail on Calle Tartesios in Fuengirola. Advance booking is required with arrival windows at 7 o'clock and 8:30. Those times manage the flow of entry. They do not limit visitors to a short session.
7 Malaga chefs are creating more than 20 special sandwiches and gourmet street food dishes across the 2 evenings.
The confirmed group includes Sani Carnero of Calleja, Diego René of Kraken, Álvaro Ávila of El Nacional, Álvaro Saura of Liceo Playa, Reina Traverso of Niña Bonita and Taquería Ensenada, Mariano Rodríguez of M de Mariano, and Alberto Vega of El Mesón de Cervantes.
The selection changes across the 2 nights, so Thursday and Friday are not identical. Dani Carnero's featured creation is the Cordero Calleja, but the wider idea is to move between several chefs and styles rather than arrive for one fixed meal.
Around the food, there are live performances from Pop FM and 90 Roll, DJ sessions, a fashion and artisan market, sweet options, live tattooing, and participatory activities. There is also charitable involvement connected with Fundación Olivares.
So Bocata Fest is primarily a food and hospitality event with live music around it. It shows how Mare Nostrum can change format completely. The castle stage becomes an evening street food festival rather than a conventional seated concert.
From Fuengirola, we move into the Axarquía and the village of Iznate, where the 26th Dia de la Uva Moscatel takes place on Saturday the 8th of August. The celebration begins at 8 in the evening when the decorated village streets become part of a gastronomic route built around the Moscatel grape and the local knowledge that surrounds it.
This is not simply a wine tasting held in one building. The route moves through Iznate itself with an artisan market, regional products and dishes prepared by local residents. The municipal band and Charangalos que Faltan help open the route, giving the evening a moving village-wide atmosphere rather than a fixed stage format.
And that is the important part of Iznate's story. Moscatel is not only something poured into a glass, it is part of the Axarquía landscape. The grapes are grown on steep terrain where cultivation has traditionally depended on manual work, family knowledge, and an understanding of the land that passes from one generation to the next.
For visitors, the event offers a way to experience that relationship through food. The route brings together local dishes, Moscatel products, and the people who prepare them. Because the activity is spread through the streets, it is worth checking the final municipal map and program before traveling, rather than expecting one central entrance point.
The celebration then continues well beyond the food route. Orquesta Serva la Bari begins from 9 in the evening. The Premios Moscatel ceremony takes place at 10, and later the program moves into a Mecano tribute and DJ set. You do not need to follow every part of the timetable to understand the shape of the night. Food and village tradition open the evening, then music carries the celebration onwards.
Iznate is inland in the Axarquía, so this works best as the main plan for Saturday evening. Check the journey, parking arrangements, and the latest program before setting out, especially if you plan to remain into the later entertainment.
From a mountain village, we move to the coast. The 11th Certamen Mundial de Jamón Popi Ciudad de Estepona and Jamón Music Festival begins on Friday the 7th of August and continues until the 16th. For this guide, that means the opening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all fall inside our dates.
The event takes place on the Paseo Marítimo de Estepona and runs daily from 7 in the evening until 2 in the morning. It combines professional ham carvers, tasting stands, and a free live concert every night at 11:30.
This is very different from recommending one restaurant. The event turns the promenade into a public food corridor. You can watch the carvers working, see the precision involved in producing facing each slice and move between stands according to what interests you.
Public access to the promenade is open, and visitors pay only for what they choose to buy from the individual stands. That makes it easy to combine the event with an evening walk through Estepona rather than treating it as a fixed seated meal.
And professional ham carving is part of the spectacle. A skilled cortador is not simply cutting quickly. The angle, thickness, and direction of each slice affect texture, aroma, and how the fat begins to soften at room temperature. When many carvers are working along the same seafront, the preparation becomes part of the event itself.
Because the festival continues after Sunday, listeners staying longer can also return later in the run. For this week, the practical point is that activity begins from Friday evening with the live concert scheduled at 11:30 each night.
Back in Malaga City, La Fábrica Cruzcampo offers a smaller and more structured experience with its Cara Express de Verano. The week 32 sessions take place on Monday the 3rd, Tuesday the 4th, and Wednesday the 5th at 7 in the evening, then Thursday the 6th and Friday the 7th at 1 in the afternoon.
The venue is La Fábrica Cruzcampo on Calle Trinidad Grund, number 29 in Malaga's Soho district. The session lasts approximately 90 minutes, is conducted in Spanish, and is designed for adults. Advance reservation is required through the venue's experiences page.
The focus here is learning how beer is tasted rather than simply ordering a familiar glass. A structured tasting asks you to notice aroma, color, bitterness, body, and the way different ingredients shape the finished beer.
It also gives visitors a different view of Soho. The district is often discussed through street art and contemporary culture, but this experience introduces the production and tasting side of an urban brewery within the same part of the city.
And because the sessions shift between evening and lunchtime across the week, the timing matters. Monday to Wednesday suit an early evening plan. Thursday and Friday begin at 1 in the afternoon, so those sessions need to be treated as part of the middle of the day rather than an evening activity.
Advance reservation is handled through La Fábrica Cruzcampo's experiences page, where you will find the current session details. The tasting is conducted in Spanish or English, depending on the time you reserve, and is for adults.
For a lighter evening discovery, Puerto Banús has the Zenses Market throughout August. It runs daily from 6 in the evening until midnight on Paseo Alberto Vidiela Tudores.
This is not primarily a food festival. The market mixes fashion, crafts, decoration, and independent brands with gourmet products, wider gastronomy, music, and entertainment.
That makes it useful as an evening browse rather than a destination meal. You might begin with the design and craft stalls, discover a regional food product, then continue along the waterfront as the temperature drops.
Because it is outdoors and remains open until midnight, it fits the rhythm of Puerto Banús better in the evening than during the hottest part of the day.
Now for one practical Malaga City option that is not a dated festival. Mercado Central de Atarazanas is the place to see how the city's everyday food supply comes together.
The market is open Monday to Saturday from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon and is closed on Sundays. It contains 260 stalls covering fresh fish, meat, fruit, vegetables, and other local produce.
And the building tells part of the story before you reach the food. The market combines its historic stone gateway with a 19th century iron structure and stained glass. Then inside, the movement, voices, and displays remind you that this is still a working market, not a museum set.
A morning visit works best. It allows you to see the produce while the market is active and gives you the chance to try Malaga food without assuming that every stall offers prepared dishes or that seating will always be available.
The fish section is especially useful for understanding the coast. Boquerones, shellfish, larger Mediterranean fish, and preserved products all connect the market to the fishing neighborhoods and chiringuitos further east.
And that leads naturally to Pedregalejo and El Palo, where the espeto remains one of Malaga's defining coastal food traditions.
An espeto is not simply grilled sardines. It is a cooking method. The fish are skewered onto split canes and positioned beside the heat, traditionally in sand-filled boats beside the chiringuito. The angle matters, the fire matters, and the experience belongs to the beach as much as the plate.
Individual venues, service patterns, and availability vary, so the useful recommendation is the area and the tradition rather than one guaranteed restaurant experience. Pedregalejo and El Palo remain the natural coastal neighborhoods for understanding how espetos fit into Malaga's evening food culture.
And finally, one piece of Malaga food language you can use every morning. Malaga has its own vocabulary for ordering coffee.
The simplest starting point is 4 terms. A solo is espresso without milk. A mitad is a more balanced mixture of coffee and milk. A sombra is mostly milk with enough coffee to give it color and flavor. And a nube contains only a small touch of coffee.
A sombra is not coffee served in the shade. The word means shadow, which describes the darker trace of coffee inside the milk. And nube means cloud, which tells you almost everything about how pale and milky it looks.
The terminology was popularized by the historic Café Central and its famous visual scale in Plaza de la Constitución. The original café is no longer open, but the language remains part of Malaga's identity.
The useful approach is not to memorize every historic name. Start with the strength you prefer. A solo for no milk, a mitad for balance, a sombra for a milky coffee, or a nube when you want only a small amount of coffee.
Usage can vary between bars, and not every term is applied identically across the whole province. But these 4 words give visitors a practical introduction and make ordering feel much less mysterious.
So this week's food calendar gives you Moscatel heritage in Iznate, professional ham carving, and live music on Estepona's seafront, a structured tasting in Malaga's Soho district, an evening market in Puerto Banús, and a working morning market at Atarazanas.
Then beyond the dated events, there is the coastal tradition of the espeto and a small piece of Malaga language you can use at breakfast.
For final programs, reservations, and current visitor information, check the official organizer and visit malagaradio.net.
This has been Food and Hospitality This Week from Malaga Radio, covering Monday the 3rd to Sunday the 9th of August.
Malaga Radio. Malaga Radio.